Hi, I'm Larry Nielsen. I'm a financial crimes detective here in South Florida. I'm a certified fraud examiner and also a cryptocurrency tracing certified examiner certified by CipherTrace. In addition, I'm an NFT creator and an NFT collector and a cryptocurrency investor. I create and I provide investigative training for law enforcement in regards to cryptocurrency investigations. I want to welcome you to episode 2 of my podcast, the Crypto Fraudcast today. And I've got so many notes with me here because I'm super excited to be here. I got a lot to talk about and I don't have a lot of time to do it. There's some things that I want to cover, so I brought some notes. So, first I got to say this, it's crazy right now because we're coming right off the heels of the whole FTX collapse, which is just madness. If you think about it, so much going on with that. I'm not even really sure where to begin. I'm not even really going to get too much into it, but I think probably if you're into cryptocurrency, you've been following along with it. At least if you're on social media, you might see the other accounts talking about it. It's wild what happened. It's crazy for the space. I'll tell you that much right now. Let me see. So I want to talk about a few things today. Mostly, I just had a class yesterday. All right, let me say that. I taught a class on cryptocurrency and NFT transaction tracing. It was an 8-hour class. It's a 1-day workshop, for law enforcement investigators, analysts, prosecutors, and it went really well on what basically we traced until we couldn't trace anymore. It was really wild. And the thing about it, I find that I feel that it's probably the tracing part of the cryptocurrency investigations that really intimidates investigators because I guess it seems foreign, right? It's just something that people have not done yet. And when they look at it, and for example, when you see a cryptocurrency wallet address, it's a long string of numbers and letters, right? It's crazy. It's like a bank account on steroids, right? A bank account number on steroids. And then when you see the transaction hashes, which I would liken to, let's say, a bank wire confirmation number. Again, it's just this long string of numbers and letters, and it's intimidating because you don't know what you're looking at, and you think that you need to somehow decipher that, or you need to have this deep understanding of those things before you could even attempt any kind of tracing, right? Transaction tracing. And if you backing up a little bit, if you think about it, what's the goal in a cryptocurrency investigation? What do investigators want to do? Right. Of course, law enforcement hoping maybe they could put a bad guy behind a crime and, hold somebody accountable. But you also want to be able to find out where the cryptocurrency went. You want to be able to find out, the on-ramp, where it entered the system, and then if it was off-ramp somewhere. And getting from point A to point B, it can seem really intimidating. That's just the gist of it, I guess. But the point that I really want to get across to all investigators, and this includes law enforcement officers, law enforcement analysts, certified fraud examiners, ACAMs. This includes prosecutors even, that you can follow those transactions and it's not rocket science. Okay, it's not. Shocked? Yeah, but it's not. And there are actually free open source tools out there that you can use to do that, most importantly here, just get this point. No matter what you hear all over the place, you don't always need expensive advanced tracing software to do it. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. At my job, we do use that. Okay. We have that option. Okay. But you don't always need it. There are free tools out there. You just have to know where to go, and you just have to know how to use them. Okay, therein comes the second part, right? And the second part of it being how to use them, and how do you learn how to use them, right? Well, learn by doing. I know it sounds ambiguous or very general, but the way I learned is I taught myself how to do it. I found these open source tools, and then I would plug in wallet addresses, I'd plug in transaction hashes, and I'd follow the cryptocurrency, and I just kind of learned how the tools worked. That's as simple as it is. I just did that. And by doing it over and over and over and over again, I began to develop an understanding of it, And like I said, I talked about the transaction hashes and the and the wallet addresses. But, we're looking at also the difference between, custodial wallets and non-custodial wallets, and which is important to know. A custodial wallet being a wallet that is connected to or held by a centralized cryptocurrency exchange like Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken or Binance.com, right? And where a non-custodial wallet being a wallet that you have on an app on your phone, or it's a hardware device. I think what's important for local law enforcement to understand is that again, one of the biggest challenges that I had, and I talked about it in episode 1 briefly, is that when I first started to get interested in cryptocurrency investigations, I was searching for training and I just couldn't find any, and when you do find it, it would even like, let's say the FBI offers training, or some federal agency could offer training, or some, somebody who has a degree in some, PhD in blockchain or computer science or whatever. But the issue is that there really wasn't anything out there that laid out a clear roadmap for local law enforcement, right? And that's why I eventually created the training that I did, where I'm just, in all honesty, getting fantastic feedback from the training. And I really appreciate that from local investigators from all over Florida that are attending the trainings. So in the way of talking about how intimidating this stuff can be for investigators, because as law enforcement or any type of investigator, you want some kind of like you want answers, right? We don't like anonymous stuff, and there's not always answers out there right now for crypto investigations. Like I said, if you lean on the big tracing companies, okay, I'm not going to call them all out right now. And by the way, they're obviously experts in their field, and they do the advanced tracing, and the software is like fantastic, and it can help you out a lot in certain situations. But when you take training through those places, and that's the only training that you take, obviously they're teaching you how to use their tools, right? They're teaching you how to use the tools that they developed, and they're teaching you some blockchain and crypto stuff, right, along the way. But there's really nothing out there where you're gonna go and find, I guess I'm doing it, but that I've seen other than that, where an investigator is gonna find somebody teaching them just how to trace crypto with the free tools, and how to investigate a cryptocurrency crime from start to finish, and just really work through it combining all the investigative stuff you already know with the new technology of cryptocurrency. And another really great way for any investigator to start getting familiar with cryptocurrency and NFTs is to open up a cryptocurrency wallet of your own, right? Make an account on an exchange. I'm using Coinbase as an example, but you can pick whichever one you want, right? Make an account, let's say on Coinbase, and then purchase some crypto, and then also open a non-custodial wallet. Go through that process, see what that's like, then transfer some cryptocurrency from the exchange to the wallet. It seems pretty simple, but in that process, you start to get an idea of how that works. What happens when I send crypto from an exchange to a wallet? Heck, send it back from the wallet to your exchange account. Just so you can start to see how it moves across the blockchain and really get comfortable with it. That was a really big factor in helping me to learn about this. And then that ended up I kind of automatically working its way in and applying itself to how I do my investigations all over the place. And I got to tell you that investigating cases involving any of those things, they're not super different. There are different elements that you need from each one of those, but the general foundation for how you move forward with those things are not super different. So it's like, investigators they get intimidated by the cryptocurrency in the beginning, right? And then it's like, okay, I just figured out how to work with a centralized exchange like Coinbase, and then now they get a case that has a Bitcoin ATM, right, or cryptocurrency ATM, and they're like, oh man, I don't know what to do now, and I mean, believe me, I've been there, but then you realize that it's really not that different, and if you just get the foundation straight, then you can work through any of that stuff. I feel it's very important for not just law enforcement to get trained up in this area, but I think not just officers, investigators, but here's what it is. The people that really need to know about cryptocurrency tracing and understand the basics of the investigations are law enforcement detectives, road patrol officers, law enforcement analysts, because they're doing a lot of behind the scenes analytics, right? Prosecutors also need to get trained up on it so that when they get these cases from law enforcement, because they're coming in now and they're going to continue to come in, right? That they have a better understanding of what maybe the officer's trying to relate to them. Okay. And also the certified fraud examiners that are out there that are working these cases, they're not law enforcement, maybe not all of them, but they're still working fraud cases. They're going to start seeing, if they're not already seeing it, cryptocurrency popping up in a lot of the stuff that they're working. And you just really need to have at least a basic understanding of what it is and how it moves across the blockchain, and it's going to help you tremendously in moving these investigations forward. And what it is I want to say that, everybody's focused on the end game, right? It's like you got to get that, you got to get to the end, you got to find a bad guy, or you got to get the money back, right? And of course, law enforcement tries their best. Okay, every case that comes in, law enforcement tries to investigate it to the best of their ability. They don't try to investigate; they investigate it to the best of their ability. Right? They try to get the best outcome for the case. In the bounds of the law of the jurisdiction that they're working in. Okay, but sometimes things don't work out. They don't work out the way we want. That's just the facts. Okay. And maybe you can't get to the end goal that you'd like to get to, right? Because the facts of the case just don't lead there. It is what it is. But in a cryptocurrency case, with the nature of the blockchain and how it is, if you know how to trace crypto and you know what you're looking at, then you can also explain in plain English why either the outcome was what you wanted, or the right outcome, the best outcome that you thought it could be, or why it didn't work out. And you can lay that out. And you don't have to just take the cryptocurrency case and say, hey, you know what? This is cryptocurrency. There's really nothing we can do about it. We don't get this. We don't have time to understand it. There's nothing we can do about this. That's not what you want to do. You want to be able to either, you just want to be able to take the case as far as you can. That's really what I'm trying to say, I guess. And with the knowledge that I know, with the knowledge that I'm providing in the courses that I've created and the courses that I provide, that it gives investigators the ability to do that, if that makes sense. Do you understand? That's what I'm trying to get across, is that it's like providing tools for investigators to use that in an area that there's not a lot of training on right now, but that could help them to move these cases forward. And that's the goal. When you get a case, an investigation, you want to move it forward. Whatever the outcome is going to be, you take the facts of the case, the evidence available, and your investigative skills, and you just keep moving forward until you can't move forward anymore. That's how it goes. And that's the options. Talk to just everyone out there that is a cryptocurrency investor. Maybe you're just getting started investing. No matter really what your age is or whatever, but if you just aren't really, if you're not familiar with cryptocurrency, but you know that you want to buy some, for to keep it like that, right? There are some things, right? Because I'm a detective. You guys know that. I'm a law enforcement detective. I'm an investigator. I provide the training. Before you get to a point where you have to contact law enforcement, right? I always used to say when I was working road patrol before, whenever we would get called to go to someone's house, I'd always say that we need to keep in mind that when we have a call to respond to someone's home, that really that's probably not one of the best days of their life, right? And we have to keep that in mind. Okay, so what we would like to do in this case with the fraud and the financial crimes, we want to make it so there's less of a chance that you're going to need to have to call law enforcement. okay, especially involving your cryptocurrency investments, things like that. So what I want to do now is just want to offer a couple tips that I think are going to be very valuable to anyone out there who's a collector, or a investor in cryptocurrency, or who's thinking about getting into it. Okay, the first tip, okay, is that you're probably going to go to an exchange. Again, I'm using Coinbase as an example, but I'm just doing that because I know about it, and I'm just using it as an example. You're probably going to go to an exchange like Coinbase, for example, and you're going to make an account, right? Normal stuff. Now, when you're opening your account, they're going to turn on security measures for you, right? Of course, it's great. And the default security measure that they're going to activate most likely is going to be you're going to want to activate the two-factor authentication on your account, right? Because everybody, a lot of places have that two-factor authentication now, where if when you log on, they're going to send you a text message to your phone, and you get a code and you put it into the site. So, they know it's you, and then you can log on, right? Great. But not so much because of stuff like SIM swapping. That's not the best thing to do. Okay. Because if you get your phone, you get SIM swapped, and you've set up your text message two-factor authentication, then the bad guy or girl can just as easily go try to log on to your account and get a text message with a code now sent to their phone. And then they go on, they change your password, and they take over your whole account. So how do you avoid that? There's an option in there in your security settings to turn on something called the third-party authenticator app, or an authenticator app option. Okay. Now, again, I'm giving you advice here. You do what you feel works best for you. This is just based on what I've seen so far. Now, I just want to make this disclaimer that what I'm telling you, I'm not telling you this is an ironclad 100% foolproof way to protect yourself, because every single day, the scammers, the thieves, the bad guys and girls, they're coming up with new ways to beat the system. Are they going to eventually be able to beat the authenticator app? I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but right now it's a pretty good way to stay secure. Better than the two-factor text message authentication. Okay. So what you can do is you switch to the authenticator app option, and then you're going to have to download an authenticator app from your native app store, like, the Apple or Google Play, whatever you're going to do. And you get that, and it'll give you instructions on there it'll connect itself to your cryptocurrency exchange account. So then every time you can set it this way. So like every time you're going to log on, every time you're going to send cryptocurrency from your account, it's going to require that you then look at that app and give the 6-digit code from that app to your cryptocurrency exchange account. And that code recycles every 30 seconds. Okay. It's not sent via text message. Okay. So it's much more secure than that way. That's the biggest first step. Okay. And then I want to tell you something else, very important. In my opinion, of course, I don't know if this has been proven anywhere, but it just seems to make sense to me. Okay. So your email, the one that you use every single day, you probably use it for social media. You probably use it for magazine subscriptions, online newsletters. Every single thing you do online, every time you go to a website, everybody wants your email address. Give me your email address, subscribe to my newsletter. It's like everywhere, right? And what do? We just enter it. We just put it in, right? So now what happens is that every time you enter your email address into a website or anywhere else, if that website gets, let's say, hacked or whatever, compromised in any way, then your email address, could be stolen from the site. Hacker now has a list of emails, and then now they can set up like social engineering tricks that they could send emails to you to try to get you to click on links that will then give them access to take over your email. Okay. And so it gets crazy. And then once they do that, they can be in there and they could see that, okay, this person has a Coinbase account, or this person has a Gemini account, or whatever. So now they know that. And there's so many ways out there for them to get information on you. So once they have your email and they're inside of your email, it's dangerous, right? So financially. So what I would suggest, again, do what you feel comfortable with. Do your own research, okay? This is me suggesting something to you. And again, I cannot guarantee that this is going to completely make you bulletproof to any sort of scams or fraud that's out there. But these are just little things that you can do. So I would, before you even set up your first cryptocurrency exchange account, I would make yourself a completely new email address. Okay, completely new email address. And what you're going to do is you're going to only use that email. You're going to use that email address for only your cryptocurrency exchange account. You're not going to use it for anything else. Nothing else. You're not going to send a single person an email from that address. You're not going to subscribe to any newsletters with that email address. You're not going to write that email address down anywhere. You're not going to do anything else with it except for that crypto exchange account. And then what you're going to see in that email is that you're only going to be getting emails back and forth from the crypto exchange account. That's it. Okay. So what that's going to do is, from what I've seen, again, my experience is that that's going to make it a lot less likely that your email is going to get stolen from a website compromise or a hack. Okay. So just to summarize what I said just now, you're going to want to set up the Authenticator app option for your two-factor authentication. And you definitely want to have two-factor authentication on your crypto exchange accounts. And you're going to want to make a dedicated email address that's only used for that crypto exchange account. If you want to get real crazy about it, if you have more than one crypto exchange account, make a new email address for each one. Okay. Now, it might sound like a lot, but when, if you have $500,000 worth of cryptocurrency stolen from your crypto exchange account, then it might be something that you wish you did before, and like I said, I want to offer these tips to potentially prevent you from having to interact with law enforcement at all, calling and saying, hey, I got, 500 grand in my crypto stolen, So, and the reason being, and this is just a really important point that I want to make sure that I share, is that the way the blockchain works, the way cryptocurrency moves, is that once cryptocurrency moves from again, I'm just using Coinbase as an example, moves from your Coinbase account and I just want to stop and say, Coinbase is a great exchange in my personal opinion and my experience. I'm using them as an example. I'm not saying that they're compromised all the time. This happens to every exchange, and it's not necessarily the exchange's fault. It's the stuff that I'm telling you about right now, the social engineering, the email compromises, somebody pretending to be you, SIM swapping you. Okay. I see a lot of people, they want to blame the exchanges when this stuff happens, and that's really not always where the blame lies. You know what I'm saying? So the way cryptocurrency and blockchain works is that once cryptocurrency is sent from, let's say your centralized cryptocurrency exchange account out to, let's say, the bad guy's wallet, once that transaction happens, it's permanently recorded on the blockchain and it's irreversible. Okay, so in a situation with a bank wire, where a bank wire is sent, sometimes there might be a window, and there might be an option to recall that wire or potentially get it back. But cryptocurrency, the transactions are irreversible. So instead of looking at, let's try to investigate this and find out how we can get this crypto back, and let's try to now we're behind the eight ball. Set yourself up in the beginning so that you're ahead of it, so that you almost can prevent yourself from becoming a victim in the first place. Again, there's a lot of other layers to this, but that's a solid start for you, 100%. Thank you guys for tuning in. I enjoy this so much. I can't even explain it to you. I just really like getting this information out there. So I'm going to see you guys all again on the next episode, on episode 3. Until then, go ahead and follow me. Check me out on at Crypto Fraudcast on Instagram, on YouTube, and Twitter. And also you can check fintechfocus.io, my website, for upcoming course dates, times, locations in Florida, most likely, and then some outside of Florida. Also, go ahead and find me on Facebook at Fintech Focus Training and Consulting on Facebook as well. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.